So today we're going to talk about competitor research. What is it and why is it so important? So when you are trying to kind of map out like what content should I be writing on my blog, right? Of course, first you need to do your target audience research, figure out your who you're trying to reach and your what. What is it that your ministry is trying to offer them? From there, you can begin doing general queries to kind of figure out kind of to get a general idea of what your person is looking for online. But a really great way to kind of take the guesswork out of everything and kind of speed up that process and also get additional things that maybe you wouldn't have thought of on your own is to do competitor research. Every good business model, even if you're not monetizing your blog, you should still treat it like a business in kind of how you map out the future of it, right? So even if you're not trying to earn money from it, you still should have a solid business plan, a strategy. Every good business does market research. They look at their competitors in the community, in the field, in wherever, figure out like what they're doing that's working, what they're doing that's not working, and seeing how they can improve upon that. Blogging is no different. The great thing is we have tools available to us that enable us to do research on our competitors. So what is a competitor? It's another website, another blog, if you will, that is writing to a similar audience that you're trying to reach. So basically other blogs that maybe you follow, and maybe that's kind of what prompted you to think, well, you know what, I think I want to do this too. And they publish the kind of content that you are pretty much interested in publishing, or content that reaches the same target audience that you're trying to reach for the same purpose. These would be your competitors. And the idea of competitor research is to figure out what queries are bringing them traffic, what keywords are they currently ranking for? If they're ranking for a keyword, y'all know if you've been following me, I don't like the word keyword. We're talking about queries, but for those of you that are new, I want to make sure you understand that when I say query, I'm talking about a keyword because that's the thing that you kind of type into that Google search box. And so if these specific queries are bringing the bulk of traffic to their sites, it kind of makes sense that you should write about these topics too, because this is what people are searching for. The cool thing is once you begin diving into competitor research, you may have come up to some walls, just like I can't think of anything else that my person would be looking for. Competitor research opens you up to a whole bunch of ideas that you probably never would have thought of on your own. And because you know it's driving traffic to these other sites, then you know it's a good query to target because you know this is stuff people are looking for. Oftentimes we think we know what we want to pour into people, but at the end of the day, it's not things they're physically Googling. And if they're not Googling it, searching for it online, I say Googling. Again, if you're new to following me, when I say Google, I mean any search engine, Yahoo, Bing, DuckDuckGo, any of those, but we just say Googling because that's like a word now. If they're not Googling it, they're never going to find it naturally, organically, and that is the goal. Yeah, you can get traffic from Pinterest when Pinterest not being crazy. You might get a little bit of traffic from sharing it on social media, but social media is here and gone. You share it today and you get traffic today and then it's done unless you keep sharing it. And that's where you become chained to social media. But at the end of the day, if you keep sharing it on your Facebook, it's the same people who are seeing the link over and over. So you're not actually reaching anybody. Organic search is the way that you want to get your traffic. And so I am going to jump in to a tool that I use called so actually, funny story, nobody can agree on how to pronounce the name of this tool. Ahrefs, Hrefs, Ahrefs, however you say it, you're good. I will also say this is an expensive tool, and so I don't recommend everybody go out and get this. I am not an affiliate, but it is an expensive tool. Like we're talking $100 a month. I don't recommend this for new bloggers, but I'm going to give you some additional resources at the end of the video that you can probably get some good use from, as well as another resource that I offer that can get this information for you. So what do I need to go in here? So the first thing you're going to need to do your competitor research is a list of competitors. And so you want to begin kind of compiling a list of sites that maybe you already follow, other blogs that you follow, or have come across that you are like, wow, I really like what they're doing here. I'd kind of like to do the same thing. So start just compiling that list. Once we actually get into doing the competitor research, you may actually find some of them aren't necessarily competitors. There's some blogs that you may follow that get a lot of people, but it's because they have huge email lists or maybe they have a huge Facebook following. That's kind of the exception. They've been around for a while before all the algorithms and stuff change. And so chances are you may find that they don't actually have a very big organic footprint. And that means they're not getting a ton of organic traffic. In that sense, they're not competitors, because if they're not getting organic traffic, they're not going to have keyword queries for you to look at. And that's kind of the goal here. So you get a list of keywords to begin filling out your blog content plan. I'm also going to show you, in case you're like, well, I know what I want to do. I feel God's put this on my heart to share this to who and what, but I don't really know any sites that do it. So I'm going to show you how to kind of get an idea of some potential competitors simply by using Google. Okay. So let's hop over here to my Google page. So if you're in the latter category and you're like, yeah, I don't know who my competitors are. I don't really follow any blogs. So I kind of need some help. Well, it's kind of simple. Hopefully by now you've already done your who, your what, and identified your 3 categories. And then within that, kind of come up with some ideas of what should go in those categories, right? So let's say, for example, you have a Bible study category and you want to mostly fill that with Bible study stuff, right? Resources, tools, how-tos, methods, tips, things like that. So the first thing you could just type in here is Bible study resources and hit enter. Now, again, you should be using keywords everywhere at this point. Should have prefaced that, but I think everybody by now who's going to see this video has been following me for a while and know that keywords everywhere is the tool I recommend. Again, it's very low cost, 100,000 credits for $10, right? And you can just renew the credits. I think I renew it maybe 3 times a year. And that's with all my courses and everything else. So I use it a lot. Most of you probably will only do the $10 for the whole year. So how do you know who your competitors are? Well, for any given query, who's on page 1? If they made it to page 1 for that query, then they are a potential candidate for being a competitor. And so here we have Lifeway. Well, that's sponsored, so we don't want to take that one into account. That's a paid advertisement. So we want organic. And so here we have the Bible Project, Bible Study Tools, Blue Letter Bible, a couple of other ones on here. Actually, the Daily Grace. So one other tool that I recommend that you install would be the Moz, but we'll talk about that one in a minute. So if you have keywords everywhere installed, then in addition to your query values up here, you should also, right here, the second line, search traffic, right? So you see that line. So it says search traffic 320/month, website 176.90, 176,000 basically, keywords 94. You want to look at this number, right? So this particular one, the one that says website, not search traffic and all these other ones, but the value of this that I'm covering here, this 176.90 website. This is so this is something that Keywords Everywhere gives you that estimates the overall traffic to this site, not just from this post, but all posts, all the traffic to this site. If they are on page 1, and you're seeing, so like this one's 176,000, this one is 14 million, right? You want to stay away from, so you won't put these on the list. If they are in the millions or the high thousands, like above 10,000 or 100,000, we don't put them on the list. We kind of consider those mainstream sites. Now, you will come across my site, Kingdom Bloggers, on a lot of these search queries, and mine's up in the 100,000s or double-digit thousands, whatever. My site's quite old. I have a lot of authority. I would technically not be one of your competitors at this point in the game because I'm competing now with these bigger ones. So I'm going to show you what you are going to look for to determine if this would be kind of a site for you to add to your list. Okay. So we're going to kind of keep going down here. So this one's a 34,000, 19,000. 13. Okay, so we're not going to go with this one. So let's go with, let's see here. Bible Study Resources Free. Let's click on that one. So this Seed Time Money, you might put this one on. I'm not familiar with this site, but see how it's 8,600. So it's under 10,000. If an under 10,000 is ranking on page 1, then chances are you have the potential. In other words, they're ranking for queries that you're more likely to rank for because they're fairly new to the game as well. So I will probably put this one on my list. This one, freebiblestudyguides.org, they're only at 2,800, and this is again total site traffic. So you might put them on the list. Free daily Bible study, again, it's actually under 1,000 total. So these are all kind of new kid on the blocks, right? And so putting them on your list, I'm actually going to open this one so I can save it. And then I'm going to put this and save it. Just to kind of give you an idea. So again, don't just go with this one query. Kind of type in a couple of queries that fall into each of your categories and look for sites that are below 10K total site traffic. Those would be the ideal competitors for you to get started with. So this is this site here. All right, so now I'm going to hop over to my Ahrefs. I say Ahrefs. I don't know how you say it, but whatever. Now this tool, again, this is an expensive tool. I think I pay like, I don't know, almost $200 a month for it. Or no, I'm sorry. I pay $105 a month for it. 105 something, so like $106 a month. I don't recommend this for new bloggers. You don't have enough money as it is. Don't spend it on a tool like this. There are some other less expensive tools. Ubersuggest. It's not as accurate, but you can still use it and kind of do some of the things that you're going to see me do in here. I think it's like 29 bucks a month for Ubersuggest. I used to use it, but as my site grew, and now I have 3 sites, I just found this one to be more helpful to me. And then at the end of this video, I will talk about, I actually offer to do this for you, since I already have the program for a very, very minimal fee, to provide you the competitor research, but you have to do the work to give me the list. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so let's go in here. So I'm just gonna, these are my sites here. Let's just click here. So I'm gonna go to top pages, and I am gonna grab this, not the blog post, but just the domain. And I am going to put that up here. So this is basically giving me, for this free dailybiblestudy.com, it doesn't get a ton of traffic. It is a fairly new site, but it's ranking for free Bible study tools. It's on position 2, so that's page 1. And so any of these could be a good, again, if it's in line with what you are wanting to offer to your site, then these would be a good match for them. So let me try this other one. Okay, this one's not secure. So I'm just going to punch some other ones in here. Let's see. These are some Bible study sites that I'm familiar with. They're kind of up there. So you see here, color coding your Bible, verse mapping, scriptures to speak over your child. That would be kind of in line with a mom blogging kind of thing, or parenting blog. So at the end of the day, what happens is you pull the keyword research, or I'm sorry, the competitor research off of 5 to 10 good competitors. And then you can export this report. So this is all their top pages. These are the pages on the blog posts right here on their site that generate the most traffic. This column here gives me the query that's driving the most traffic to that blog post. Now you may say, well, isn't this kind of just stealing what they're writing? No, it's not. I mean, we're all in the Bible study blogging game, so we're obviously all going to be kind of writing about the same stuff. So you're not pulling this so that you can copy what they wrote. Honestly, when I do my competitor research, I don't even open up their blog posts to look in how they write it. I simply is like, okay, best way to color code the Bible. That's something someone's looking for. So I'm going to write a piece of content that satisfies that query, right? And so you can, apply that same strategy if you're worried about copying what they wrote. But, anything that you Google, there's 10 things that come up on page 1, not to mention all the other pages behind it. So lots of people are writing about this topic. Yours just needs to be good enough to make it to page 1 so that somebody will click on it. So absolutely, this is not just stealing their topics. I mean, like this person, she didn't create Bible coloring methods, right? Like none of us should be, vain enough to think that we came up with any of this stuff on our own. It all came from the Bible. We are just putting it into a manner that somebody else can benefit from. So when you pull these lists, you're not pulling it to see their blog posts, you're pulling it to see what the top queries are that people are Googling that's getting them to their site. That's what you're pulling. And so, the funny thing is, and I do want to point this out, is that as someone pointed it out in my class, one of my students several classes ago, I am basically teaching you how to outrank me on page 1, how to outrank Kingdom bloggers, not me, Leanne will say, because most of the content on my site I do not write. I have a team of writers, but I'm basically teaching you how to outrank Kingdom bloggers. And when you do beat my site on any given query, then my job is done. I'm not here to dominate page 1. I'm here to teach you how to get page 1 filled with nothing but Jesus. That's what I'm here to do. And so if this is in your wheelhouse, these topics here, then these would be a good list. This would be a good list of topics for you to begin filling out your content plan. The best part is it takes the guesswork out of it. If it's on here, we know people are looking for it, right? So there's no, is this something people are Googling or not? It's evident because it's on this list and the data over here that it is driving traffic to the site, therefore people are searching for it. And so, I mentioned earlier that if you're struggling to really come up with the topics, this is going to give you a whole literally like 2, 3, 4 years worth. If you're publishing 1 post a week or whatever, you've got 2 to 3, maybe 5 years worth of content topics to fill out your content plan. But what this doesn't work if you haven't done your initial research to find out, find some really good, solid competitors for me to plug into this or for you to plug into, again, if you're going to use Ubersuggest or one of the other ones. So let's read a couple of others. Let's do Christian parenting. No, Christian parenting resources. Bro, kids for the kingdom. That's kind of a side talk. $360 a month. I probably wouldn't pull those up because if they're only getting 360 visitors a month, they're not ranking for any keywords yet, hardly. And so there wouldn't be many for you to pull off of there. I'm going to pull one in here just to show you some different types. Mindy, it's a friend of mine. She's a Christian parenting blogger. She offers a lot of crafts and printables and things like that. And so if your wheelhouse is that you're really great with Canva and making cool games and stuff for children for ministry, that is a great niche target audience to focus on, because tons of queries related to printables, Bible printables, kids Bible printables, things like that. And so you can see here, she gets quite a bit of traffic from these. And she doesn't just do printables, she does, Bible stories, Bible verses, devotionals, things like that. So it's a variation of queries. Another cool thing is, let me go back one page. So we're on rabbit trail. So let's say you had 10 on your list, you plugged them in here, and only one really had some good keywords here. You're like, wow, I could probably write most of those because they make sense for my audience. And the other 9, there was like one keyword that you would probably write about, and everything else was way out in left field, right? So maybe it was like a blog who had a couple of Jesus posts on it, but most everything else was like recipes or homemade non-Christian stuff that you just don't want to write about. So then we could take that one site and I can run it through and find that site's competitors, competing domains, and give you some additional competition or competitor sites, a lot of C words in here, that we can then run their list of top pages to give you even more keywords, queries to add to your list. And so I can get 10 additional ones here, and each of these I could run a list off of them. So again, competitor research is different from keyword research. With keyword research, you're diving in to find the actual search volume if anyone's looking for this topic, find variations of the query and things like that. But with competitor research, you're basically taking, once you've decided your who, your what, your target audience, finding other sites that fall in line with that same who and what, and figuring out what is the majority of queries bringing traffic to their sites. That takes the guesswork out for you. It also gives you a lot of additional ideas that you probably never would have thought on your own. You're like, oh, that totally makes sense. Wouldn't have even thought of that. And so in the end, it just gives you this whole pot of keyword topics. I don't even, actually, when I do this with my group, I don't call them keywords. I call them topics. It says the query. This is the query that brought the most traffic to this post. To me, it's a topic. A query is a topic, but this is the topic I need to write about, and then do keyword research on that query, that keyword, to formulate my outline and plan for writing the blog post. So I hope this made sense. I know this is probably something brand new that you've probably never really seen before. And the reason you don't see a lot of training on it is, again, because this tool Ahrefs is so expensive that most new bloggers can't afford it, and you should not run out and buy it. So what I had mentioned earlier is that since I have it, a few people have reached out and asked me if I would be willing to do the research for them and then just send them the compiled list of the keywords. And so I am now offering that service. The thing is, if you want it, you must do your preliminary research to provide me with a good list of 5 to 10 possible competitors for me to run through it. So I am not doing the initial research for you. You do need to give me a list to get started with. I can then run it through my Ahrefs, find some additional competitors by doing their competing domains, and then provide you with a good solid list of keyword queries, topics, whatever you want to call them, that you can use to begin filling out your content plan. So if you would like to have this service, if you would like to take me up on that, you'll need to reach out to me via Messenger on either my Leanne site or Kingdom Bloggers, whichever one. Most of y'all are friends with me on my regular Facebook anyway, so you can follow my crazy gardening adventures. But just reach out and say that you would like to get a competitor research done, and I will send you the link to sign up. the cost is going to be $25. And it's not like you send to me and then I send it back and it's done. If there's some issues with, like, you send me some that are just like not, then I would get back with you to kind of maybe hash out who your target audience is to come up with some better competitors to run through it. And that's why I don't just have the course available for you to just, or the thing available in Teachable, because I don't want people just signing up without understanding how it works. So just reach out to me directly and I will get you the link that you need to get signed up for that. So if you have any questions at all, drop those comments below or hop over to the Facebook group. And as always, like this video, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.